Reasons for evaluation. Kevin, a 5.4-year-old kindergarten boy, was referred by his father for a speech-language evaluation due to his unintelligibility when increasing phrases. Kevin is aware of his unintelligibility and often becomes frustrated. Kevin's unintelligibility does not, however, affect his academics or social development. Pertinent case history. Kevin has no medical history related to his speech and language development. His father, Mr. O'Reilly, indicated that Kevin's developmental milestones were all met within a normal timely acquisition, and that he didn't begin noticing Kevin's errors until around his 4th birthday, when Kevin began playdates with his preschool classmates. Before administering a formal assessment of the Goldman-Fristoe test of Articulation-3, the speech-language pathologist conducts an informal interview with the father. Come in. Hi, Mr. O'Reilly. My name is Kelly Strazar.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I am the speech-language pathologist that is going to be evaluating Kevin on his speech today.
Okay.
What we're doing right now is I'm just going to ask you some simple interview questions just to get more background information on Kevin. And
Okay.
I might be making some notes while you're talking, so I'm still listening.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So tell me your main concerns about Kevin when you first started noticing his difficulties in speech.
My main concern with Kevin is his unintelligibility. When Kevin tries to speak in longer sentences, he's often misunderstood and his message is lost. We probably began noticing the problem around his 4th birthday, like I said, when he attempts to speak in those longer sentences.
Okay, so just to clarify, when Kevin speaks in shorter sentences or answers with one-word phrases, he is more well understood?
Yes.
Okay. So what exactly are you expecting to get out of this evaluation and interview?
I expect clarification as to whether or not Kevin does have any kind of speech disorder, whether it be just in those longer phrases or if this is developmentally appropriate for kids his age.
Okay. After the formal assessment that we do on Kevin, we will have a better understanding of where Kevin stands amongst his peers, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
How does Kevin's speech and language development compare to that of his siblings or peers in his speech community?
Kevin hit all of his developmental milestones at an appropriate age, just like his siblings did. He began babbling probably around 6 months. He had his first word, which was ball, at about 13 months, I would say. And we didn't begin the concerns until Kevin was enrolled in preschool, when he began having play dates with other peers, and we noticed that he was a little bit maybe developmentally behind.
Okay. Does Kevin seem to use any compensatory strategies when he is not being understood, such as like slowing his rate or repeating himself?
I think that Kevin's very aware of his speech disorder,
Okay.
so when he does use those strategies. When he is misunderstood, he tends to repeat himself.
Okay.
Or use the word in a different context. So he's kind of talking around the word, or he simplifies his sentences to get his point across.
Okay.
He also exhibits a lot of frustration, I feel like, and we can see like he's trying really hard to get that message across or thinking of other ways to say it. He also uses a lot of hand gestures when pointing to something that he wants or needs.
Okay, good to know. How well do others outside of the family understand Kevin when he's speaking?
I think Kevin's pretty well understood, like we said earlier, with his compensatory strategies, as you had mentioned. He is able to understand when he's not being well understood.
Okay, good. If you had to give me a rough estimate percentage as to how much is understood by unfamiliar people, what would you estimate it to be?
Probably about 75% of the time.
75%? Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. O'Reilly. I will take your responses into consideration, and we can go get Kevin and get started.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks. Interview techniques. The clinician used open-ended questions, questions that encourage a more complex or expansive answer, which requires more than just a yes or no response. Affirmation, a conscious positive gesture or thought that helps change a particular image or belief that a person has about him or herself. The purpose is to focus on what is wanted, not what is unwanted. Paraphrasing, restating what the individual has just said, using different but equivalent terms, making sure the clinician and interviewee are on the same subject and agreeing or disagreeing on the same matter.
The Goldman-Fristoe Test of Articulation-3 is a norm-referenced assessment used to provide information regarding an individual's articulation abilities, ages 2 years through 21 years 11 months, by sampling both spontaneous and imitative speech sound productions compared against his or her peers. The test is broken up into 2 sections. First is the sounds and words, second, sounds and sentences. Time for administration. The Goldman-Fristoe Test of Articulation-3 is an untimed assessment. The sounds and words section can be completed in an average of 12 minutes. The sounds and sentences section can be completed in approximately 4 minutes. The time of administration tends to be longer for younger children and shorter for older school-age children and young adults. Sounds in words. This portion of the assessment evaluates a client's articulation abilities to produce single-word productions. In this section of the test, the clinician is instructed to show pictures to the client, asking the client to verbally state what is illustrated. The clinician then writes down the client's responses, focusing on the client's errored phonemes for later evaluation when the scoring process begins.
Hi, Kevin. My name is Miss Kelly.
Hi,
Hi. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. You're going to be seeing some pictures here, and then I want you to tell me what you see when I show you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What is this?
A monkey.
What is this?
A hammer.
What is this?
A plate.
What is this?
A guitar.
Good job listening, Kevin. What is this?
A lion.
And what is this?
A tail.
Okay, we're going to take a break now and move on to the next section, okay, Kevin?
Okay.
Okay.
Next is sounds and sentences. This portion of the assessment evaluates the client's articulation abilities when producing and repeating sentences. In this section of the test, the clinician will read a story to the client, instructing them to only listen. The clinician will then reread the story, instructing the client to repeat each sentence back to him or her. It should also be noted that there are 2 different stories which can be read, depending upon the age of the client.
Okay, now, Kevin, I am going to show you some pictures and tell you a story about them. Right now, I just want you to listen carefully, okay? 3 friends are walking home from school. They see something little, furry, and black. They see it zoom by and hide under a bush. Jim guesses it is a deer. That is a silly guess. A deer isn't little. A deer is big. Tina guesses it is a chicken. That is a silly guess. A chicken doesn't have fur. A chicken has feathers. Vinny guesses it is a rabbit. That is a silly guess. A rabbit will not run. A rabbit will hop. The children look under the bush's thick branches. They shout, "It's a puppy." The puppy sees the kids. It drops a green ball from its mouth. It barks, "Play catch with me."
It's a puppy.
It is a puppy. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you the story one more time. I want you to listen carefully again. But after I say each sentence, I want you to say it right back to me, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 friends are walking home from school.
3 friends are walking home from school.
They see something little, furry, and black.
They see something little, furry, and black.
They see it zoom by and hide under a bush.
They see it zoom by and hide under a bush.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Tina guesses it is a chicken.
Tina guesses it is a chicken.
That is a silly guess.
That is a silly guess.
A chicken doesn't have fur.
A chicken doesn't have fur.
A chicken has feathers.
A chicken has feathers.
Vinny guesses it is a rabbit.
Vinny guesses it is a rabbit.
That is a silly guess.
That is a silly guess.
A rabbit will not run.
A rabbit will not run.
Get your finger out of your mouth, Kevin.
A rabbit will not run.
A rabbit will hop.
A rabbit will hop.
The children look under the bushes' thick branches.
The children look under the bushes' thick branches.
They shout, "It's a puppy."
They shout, "It's a puppy!"
It drops a green ball from its mouth.
It drops a green ball from its mouth.
It barks, "Play catch with me."
It barks, "Play catch with me."
Good job listening, Kevin. All done.
Yay!
Yay.
Kevin's errors. Kevin's articulation was characterized by the substitution of W for R, guitar for guitar, W for L, lion for lion, the substitution of the sh phoneme for S, gesh for guess. Voicing errors were also present. The T became D, whittle for little, K became G, mungy for monkey, deaffrication of the ch phoneme, and as demonstrated specifically in Kevin's pronunciation of chair becoming teu. The biggest articulation error contributing to Kevin's intelligibility is the substitution of W for R and L.
Scoring. After obtaining raw scores for the sounds and words and sounds and sentences section, the clinician then references the manual to obtain standard scores, confidence intervals, and percentile ranks. Standard scores are given based on the client's age and sex. Kevin is 5.4 years and is male. Stimulability can also be measured via the stimulability checklist, which is broken up in phonemes and syllables, words, and sentences. Stimulability measures whether an individual can correctly imitate a speech sound. If they can, clinicians determine the individual to be stimulable for the errored phoneme.
Strengths and/or weaknesses of the Goldman-Fristoe test of articulation-3. The clinicians concurred that this was an appropriate test due to the diagnosis which Kevin was given, average. Kevin's errors are what SLPs refer to as phonological processes, errors that are typical and consistent for children within the same age group that generally disappear with time. Based on these findings via the parent interview and the Goldman-Fristoe test of articulation-3, the speech-language pathologist determines that Kevin is a good candidate for private speech therapy services due to the parental concern indicated by Mr. O'Reilly. It should be noted that Kevin would not receive services from his school based on his average severity. The clinician must consider different factors including Kevin's age, his diagnosis of an average articulation severity, his intelligibility rating, his level of stimulability, in addition to collaboration with Mr. O'Reilly when establishing appropriate goals for Kevin.